Business leaders have called on the Coalition and Labor to outline more detailed economic reforms before the May 21 election to shore up the nation's defences against the risk of a downturn as the Reserve Bank prepares to lift rates to tame inflation. Scott Morrison played up the impact of the government's $8.6 billion cost of living package, arguing strong economic management had provided a shield for households against rising prices. Labor attacked the government for failing to lift real wages. Olivia, I wanted to start with you. You've been on the bus with Albo before COVID hit the opposition leader. Cost of living, when you're out there on the hustings, was that a really big issue that was confronting the opposition leader and his shadow cabinet out on the hustings?
Yes, definitely. Nearly everyone I spoke to actually, when I was out on the road, mentioned cost of living. I mean, as you know, if you go to the supermarket now, even to get a soggy lettuce, it's $5. So I think it's fair enough that business leaders are calling for clarity or some sort of plan. And I think it's going to be really key for both Morrison and Albanese in the coming days, and especially ahead of a predicted interest rate rise next week, that they get their messaging on this and kind of allay any concerns of voters and show them that they're going to be okay even in this sort of uncertain economic period that we're in.
Evan, it's really interesting because we saw both sort of parties tackle this head on today, and it seems to be the general vibe of things is that when things are going really well, it's all the government's fault, and then things are going badly, then it's all because overseas impacts, specifically when it comes to things like inflation. How do you think that the government or even the opposition get a good clear line in the lead up to the polls?
That's true. Usually on any economic front, the coalition will seemingly have the advantage talking about the economy. They'll see themselves as better on economic management, but it's hard not to agree with business leaders here. Where is the economic plan? Where is a plan to cut spending? The RBA has been off on basically an experiment for the last few years. We need to return to normal, regular monetary policy. We need to return to classical monetary policy where we can cut spending, we can get the inflation rate down, we can actually have some economic reform in this country, talk about cutting taxes, talk about productivity enhancing economic reforms like industrial relations reform, but both parties don't seem to be doing that. And I find it funny, Jim Chalmers is talking about, childcare reforms and other reforms around the edges, like those kind of childcare reforms or multinational tax reforms are going to do something about inflation. If anything, they're going to make it worse.